Gentlemen, I do believe I have encountered an anomaly of the Team Fortress 2 pub community. I do believe that I found a subscriber in a 5 Gorge pub. Now, whether this is the truth or not is yet to be determined 100%, because the actions of said individual have been determined off of the spray that I produced. Why am I using? I went from like a British to a Russian. I'm so bad at accents. I'm sorry. You know what? I will continue to start every video with a freaking accent until I master all of them, because that's just how I am. Boom. There we go. What is going on, guys? Nathan here with yet another delicious waffle breakfast commentary, here playing as the Scout on PL Barn Blitz. Now, in this video, I would like to talk about a couple of things, most namely sensitivities. And I recently underwent a change, or rather, I'm going to try to continue this new change, which I am lowering my sensitivity by a factor of 8. I lowered my Valve game sensitivities from 8 to 1, which put me from a 1.25 inch 360 sensitivity to a, I believe this was a 9.5 inch sensitivity. And believe me, it was hard at first to get used to the new sensitivity, but I did actually get used to it after a little bit, and I now understand why a lot of the higher level players use this type of sensitivity. Now, for those of you who don't know, basically the majority of high-ranking Team Fortress 2 players, if not all like PC games, like high-ranking PC game players, use a very, very low sensitivity, and the purpose of this is to maintain the ability to aim very, very like minutely, very fine aiming, but at the same time, these players still have the ability to like turn around, do like a 180 really quick if there's a spy, because they can move their arm really fast across whatever space designates where their mouse can move. And like, I knew this for a long time, but the change from a 1.25 to like something in the 10-inch range of sensitivity was too much of a change, and I was comfortable with what I was, like, the style of aiming I had now, which was actually twitch aiming with my wrist. Now, really, if you don't know and you haven't really experimented, there's just a couple of ways you could aim in Team Fortress 2. It's mainly, you either have twitch or we'll just call it aiming, because there's really, I mean, you technically call it strafe aiming, but there's pretty much twitch and aiming, and that couples with, you can either twitch or aim with a low sensitivity, or twitch or aim with a high sensitivity. And I think a lot of people strafe aim mostly with low sensitivities, but like that twitch factor is still there mostly just because of how good people are. It's really hard to get rid of the twitch once you develop one, which is a good thing, but yeah, because I made the switch recently, like, I can actually understand why people like this, because while it did start off really, really, like, clunky, sort of, in terms of such a low sensitivity, once I got the hang of, like, moving my arm at my elbow joint instead of with my wrist, you can actually move your arm really fast to the point where, like, you can still turn around a lot, and I am able to land my shots successfully. I think, you know, it always helps to have good aim, whether it's high or low, because that kind of transfers over. Like, your brain putting reticle onto target will transfer whether you have a high or low sensitivity, and, I mean, obviously, I'm, like, bad with low sensitivities, but, I was still able to hit my shots, which was pretty good, and I actually tried out sniping, which I was thinking about putting in a couple of clips or something from the sniping game I got right after this, where I landed a lot of headshots that I might not normally have with my like 1.25 wrist twitch kind of aiming. And the really, really good thing about having such a low sensitivity like this is that, let's say that you are sniping, and one of my freaking most annoying downsides of sniping is when you have your reticle perfectly centered on target, and the only thing left to do is click left mouse to shoot your bullet, and then, like, because the movement, or like, my mouse sensitivity is so high that because the movement, or the movement of my finger down to press mouse 1 causes the mouse to actually shift off of the person's head, which would cause me to miss the shot. And that's not really existent in such these low sensitivities, because even if you do twitch like that, it'll only move it just a little bit, which might not actually move it off of the person's head. But yeah, I mean, sniping, I guess, is relatively easier. It's hard to turn around quickly for spies and stuff, and I do kind of miss that ability to just like whip around really fast. But if I am to continue maining Scout, I don't think backstabs will be that much of a deal anyway, because of, you know, Scouts are fast, it's harder to backstab, so spies don't really target Scouts as much. So, I mean, Scout is... I was getting a lot of smaller damage, and then, like, a lot of big damage. It was kind of like an on-off sensation, where it'd be like, oh, 16 there, 9 there, and then all of a sudden, like, 68 there, and, like, 78 there. So Scout was a little bit more random, but it wasn't really that much out of the ordinary anyway, because my twitch aiming with my wrist is kind of random. The best you can do is train your wrist to just be less random than it already is in your favor. But, anyway, enough about me and my experiences. How does this relate to you, the viewer? The thing is, like, in terms of recommendations, it would really depend on your situation. I know sensitivity is a huge topic in the gaming scene, especially on PC, where it is a bit of a bigger deal because on console, you usually you don't really have such fine aiming taking place, but in, like, the PC world, I don't know, sensitivity seems to be, like, a bigger deal. But here's what I would recommend, and it really depends on your situation. If you're playing Team Fortress 2 / video games for fun, then put it on whatever you want. You know, if you want a high, take a high. If you want a low, take a low. If you want something that fits, take something that fits. But if you are looking to consistently play competitive in Team Fortress 2 or whatever game that you're in, then I would try to get used to a low sensitivity, and that is, once again, for finer aim. Finer aiming is the better situation here, and I will be the first one to admit that I was really stubborn, and I didn't want to make the switch to sensitivity. And I mean, I still have only played with the sensitivity for, I mean, a couple hours now, but I am going to try to actually continue doing this, because I know it's something I'm going to have to do sooner or later if I want to, you know, stay or keep gaining skills in the, like, well, just basically just keep getting better, you know? I spent a lot of time developing, like, aiming skills with my wrist, and I'm going to have to take that step back, but you might as well do it sooner or later. And let me tell you, though, that no matter what sensitivity you're doing, whether it's low, high, or you're switching around, you don't even know what your sensitivity should be, practicing will still train your brain to put reticle onto target, and that is one of the most valuable skills you can have, because your hand will get used to whatever your brain is doing, but if your brain doesn't know what it's doing, then you might as well not even be playing the game. You're just not gonna do well in that sense, because reticle on target is the biggest aspect of aiming, to me personally. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, that's just my thoughts on sensitivity. Recommendations, like I said, you know, whatever you want, but competitive, you should really stay low. And, like, I suppose I should do some research on, like, Counter-Strike players, because I know more TF2 players than, like, Counter-Strike, and Counter-Strike is a bigger community, and that is pretty much actually the biggest PC gaming, like, competitive scene. But anyway, I suppose this is where I will wrap up the video, so thank you all for watching. As always, if you could leave a rating, I always appreciate it, and if you're new around here, subscribe for more Team Fortress 2, and peace out.